Alrighty, party peoples of the interwebs, Viva Fry, former Montreal litigator turned current Florida rumbler. I'm on my way to San Salvador, El Salvador, for the Plan B Bitcoin conference. Going to be on stage with Tether's CEO, Paulo Arduino, and it should be amazing. So, obviously at an airport right now, but some updates. Some critical updates in the Alex Pretti shooting out of Minnesota. There's been a thorough back and forth legal debate on the interwebs as to whether or not it was a justified shooting based on all evidence available at the time of such analyses. And additional evidence has come out now from a week earlier. Now I'll get to the importance of the fact that it's evidence from a week earlier in a second. My analysis, after having waited, watched the videos, picked the brains of bigger legal minds than my own, is that it was a predictable, unfortunate, but ultimately lawful, and most importantly, avoidable shooting had Alex Pretti not interfered with federal law enforcement, whether or not he thought he was being a good Samaritan, as the left is now going to have to retract based on additional evidence, interfering with the ICE operations in Minnesota, and whether or not he thought the woman who got pepper sprayed ought not have been. He put his hands on federal custom border patrol agents, interfered with federal law enforcement while concealed carry. Bad things happen when you do that. You cannot blame Border Patrol, ICE, whoever it was the day of, for not understanding that he didn't have that firearm in his hand when he was disarmed, although they might have suspected he might have had other weapons on him. So my ultimate conclusion is that it was awful but lawful, unfortunate but entirely avoidable, and it looked like we had someone who wanted it to have a death by cop or Luigi Mangione moment if he were able to provoke an assault from these agents and defend himself, go to jail for the rest of his life, but be a hero on the left. Now he's going to be a martyr on the left, but I'm not even sure for how long.
He definitely interfered. The argument is you don't interfere with law enforcement operations. You don't interfere with law enforcement officers when you're concealed carrying. If you do interfere with law enforcement officers while concealed carrying and a scuffle ensues, you immediately fall to the ground, announce that you are carrying a concealed firearm, keep your hands visible, and pray you didn't just put yourself in a position where you suffer irreversible consequences because you decided to interfere with law enforcement operations while carrying a concealed firearm.
The additional video that just came out is from a week earlier of a man who looks like, and it's now been confirmed by his parents, was Alex Pretti, kicking out the taillight of an ICE vehicle as it was leaving, interfering with operations, getting involved in a scuffle while armed. Now, I've looked at the video of this and I sought independent confirmation that he was in fact armed and that it is in fact him. And now you have people making memes juxtaposing this to Elizabeth Warren's eulogy of Alex Pretti. You have CNN begrudgingly forced to admit that this guy was not just a VA nurse out to help people. He was an agent provocateur. He was someone who was hell-bent on getting involved, triggering conflict. In the video, you hear him literally saying, "Go on, assault me." Provoking assault from an ICE officer while armed, presumably so that he could be justified in using his firearm to defend himself from the assault that he just provoked. Vandalizing ICE agent cars, interfering with ICE operations, arguably assault, because if you kick and break a portion of a vehicle with the goal of intimidating the people inside the car, that's assault, while armed. Now, the legal argument is going to be this happened a week earlier. It's totally irrelevant to what happened the day he was shot. Maybe you'll have a lawyer try to argue that in court if this man were ever going to have his day in court, say that this is unduly prejudicial to its relevance. We're not making proof of character here. Well, unfortunately, when one of the arguments was that he was only a mere VA nurse who was only out there to help people, didn't have a mean, violent bone in his body, was definitely not part of some organization to actively interfere with federal law enforcement, when that was the narrative, this does surpass the unduly prejudicial. This is highly relevant, showing past conduct of him while armed, vandalizing federal law enforcement vehicles, arguably intimidating, assaulting, trying to provoke an assault, presumably so that he could be a hero, draw his gun and whatever. He was looking for one of two things quite clearly: his Luigi Mangione, I killed someone righteously, make me a hero of the left, or death by cops, which he got. This video from a week earlier dispels any myths as to his good nature, non-violent nature, and that he was just there to help. And it certainly confirms what these suspicions were the day of, that he was there to provoke something, that what he did was actual provocation, and that whether or not it was necessary, it was justified, understandable under the circumstances when that incident broke out with a man who interfered with, assaulted, put his hands on CBP while armed. Now I'll play you some of those clips because they are revealing, and in some cases of the memery, Trump posted it out on Truth Social, they're hilarious in a sick and ironic way. Everything the left tells you and everything MSM tells you is a lie. Give it enough time, it will be proven to be a lie. And they will have to begrudgingly admit that, yeah, we made a martyr, we made a hero out of the wrong person yet again. That is it. I'm going to go get ready to see where my flight's going. If you like what I do, you know what to do. Like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Viva Fry, Viva Fry on Twitter, and vivabarneslaw.locals.com for the best above average law community out there. And now, enjoy the clips. Peace out. Booyah!
This is a moment the news movement filmed on January 13th in Minneapolis, showing a man who appears to be Alex Pretti interacting with federal immigration agents 11 days before Border Patrol shot and killed him. Our footage was analyzed by the BBC, whose facial recognition technology confirmed his identity to a 97% degree of accuracy. The man in our footage is wearing a similar outfit to what Pretti was wearing on the day he was killed. What appears to be a gun is also visible above his waistband.
Look at the people of Minnesota.
Yeah. I mean, they drew the line.
It is amazing that you had a man who was a nurse at a VA hospital and was a good Samaritan, dared to be a good Samaritan, and he got shot and killed for it. But I think he would have tried to help that lady up again.
Newly surfaced video shows Alex Pretti getting into a physical clash with federal agents 11 days before he was fatally shot. The family has confirmed to CNN that the man that you see in this video that was released by the outlet The News Movement is, in fact, Pretti. A struggle ensues, but a few minutes later, Pretti gets up, and a gun appears to be tucked into his waistband. Now, it's unclear if the agents noticed it in this altercation, but the agents ended the confrontation there and decided to walk away.
Caring for people was at the core of who he was. He was incapable of causing harm. Alex carried patience, compassion, and calm as a steady light within him. Even at the very end, that light was there. I recognized his familiar stillness and signature calm composure.